Do you know that you can access ninth dimension energy for healing, transformation, magical manifestation, exploring timelines and dimensions, and more? But there's one thing that can prevent you from accessing star magic. Fellow spiritual explorer and alchemist Anne Varney is my guest. If you are curious about enhancing your spiritual abilities and accessing powerful energies, stay tuned.
Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
Hi, this is Linda Lang from ThoughtChange.com. We are exploring the mystical side of life once again today. I have spiritual teacher and alchemist Anne Varney with me, and is also the podcast host of Spiritual Abundance Creator. Welcome, Anne.
Hello, how are you doing? Lovely to be here, Linda.
I'm so happy to have you, and I hope you're going to share a little magic with us today.
Oh, definitely. Magic should be my middle name because I absolutely love looking at esoteric alchemists kind of practices to really change and bring magic towards myself and my students and my clients and what have you. So I go into that mysterious world of what people call woo-woo, but I'm proven time and time again of the practices that we do use, having a master's in psychology. I do have the science background as well. A lot of people think that if you're going woo-woo, that you're kind of new agey and you're in there and all the rest of it. And I'm quite a pessimistic around a lot of things because there is a lot of charlatans in the arena where spirituality is, and it gives it a bad name, which it really shouldn't, because there is such power, magic. Every single person can get, regardless of whether they think they're spiritual or not.
I totally agree. And we do it all the time, although mostly unconscious. Magic is absolutely one of my favorite words as well. And I love that you have the more traditional background as well. I'm seeing that more and more as more in the medical community and more in the scientific community start expanding what they believe is possible. So congratulations for being part of that. Specifically talking about star magic, I'm wondering if you could actually define what that is for us.
So many people see things different ways. They have their own perceptions, their own ways of doing things. And the way I see star magic is you going into the parallel realities, going up to the stars and using the magic that's there for everybody. It's there for everybody, but it can really transform emotions, behaviors, bodies, pain, and what have you. And basically what you're doing is you're going into the esoteric to source, what I call source energy, ninth dimensional energy, med beds. I take my student up to these med beds in ninth dimension, where when they come back, they're like, whoa, what just happened there? And they're just elated, absolutely elated of what they experienced, when they go into the ninth dimension of that energy, that esoteric energy that's in there. And it really is there for everybody. And there's a big talk about med beds out in society just now. But if everybody just knew that they can actually get access to those med beds, they don't have to go through, they think they've got to go somewhere to get those med beds. And you don't. Those med beds are really in the stars, in the magic. They're up there for healing. But not only for healing, for manifestation as well, for really creating at a really high level that really knocks your socks off, it blows your mind away. I mean, I've used this to the point, because I keep testing it and testing how it goes. And I used this and to see if I could win the lottery. I was like, let's see if I can win the lottery, because I've got big goals I wanted to get. And 16 times in a row, I won the lottery 16 times. I only bought 2 tickets at a time because everybody said, you must have bought hundreds of tickets, to win 16 times. No, I bought 2 tickets every time. And every time I won two times, every time. And it was a succession of me winning that. And it was just for testing, going up, using different energies, using different magic of alchemy, because star magic it is alchemy. It is transforming those behaviors, those emotions, and what have you, and using the energy and bringing that energy back into your energetic vibration, because it's all around everyone. It's all around you. They think because they can't see it, it's not there, and there's simple ways for you to just access that star magic. It really is.
Let's start with med beds. For anyone who hasn't heard of a med bed.
So I see it a wee bit different to people that come out about these med beds. When I take people up to the 9th dimension, it's not just myself, it's my students and my clients as well. They tell me this too, they tell me, this is what I experienced. Oh my God, this is amazing. And so basically what we see the med beds as is when we go into the 9th dimension is it's like an invisible outline of your body that you're lying on, but it's the contour of your body. It fits you exactly, this med bed. And this is just of a pure healing vibration that's within this bed. And then we bring the other dimensional beings in who really bring in the energy that wherever you need energy releasing, or if you need a surge of energy or what have you, these beds can go upwards, they can go along the way, they could be anywhere at all. And the way I see them is like how you get a digital light. When you see that digital blue light, and then you've got the invisible kind of vibration, when you see something like that. Well, that's what it's like when you go up to the 9th dimension. It's like this, just this invisible, it's there, but it's just very invisible, a bluish light that it fits you perfectly, the med beds. And it's just really filling your energy up. That's all I could explain it as. It's taking away the energy that's stagnant, that sometimes, through trauma and abuses and childhood stuff and what have you. What it does is it actually releases that. It just goes. There's no attachments to it, and then it just fills you up with this energy. So when people come back from it, their energy is just so, because some people have just never ever experienced that. They've never experienced an energy with a high vibration like that, and that energy is magical because that's when synchronicities happen and coincidences. And as soon as they think whenever they want to create something, when they come back down, because we have them going in like geometric shapes and wheels, and there's a lot of geometry around it as well. And when they come back and they start saying they want to manifest, it really comes like that. It comes so quickly.
Tell me about how you access the 9th dimension in these med beds. Is this something that you guide people through, like a guided visualization, meditation, or are there actual tools or actual technology that you use?
No. It's just guided meditation. I'm very connected spiritually. I get these spiritual feathers every day, every single day. I receive these in all shapes and sizes. I mean, that's just the last 2 days I've had those. And I've had them probably about a year. I've been getting them for over a year. And I'm very connected spiritually. So when I guide people, I have a program, Spiritual Abundance Creator, that I take people through the process. But I don't just take them through that process of going to the med beds. I actually take them to the process of remembering their starseed memories, activating their purpose, because sometimes we think we're living our purpose and it's not really. And I'm talking from experience here, because I was an award-winning bridal designer and I traveled the world and all the rest of it, and I was really empty. Everybody thought they were inspired by what I achieved and what have you, but all that I achieved, I used to teach it full time and everything as well. I was very empty inside. I wasn't fulfilled in any way, and I used to really fill myself up with food and alcohol, and like most people have done. So what the spiritual abundance creator is it really brings the purpose of what's in your heart space, what's in your soul, what you're actually here for, what are you here for. So we go through a practice of, we look at people's conflicts, because everybody has a conflict with someone or another. The conflicts that people can still have, that they're actually creating, I show them why they're creating it, how they're creating it, and what to do about it. So they have it with integrity around it, so they can really get themselves, because it's so unconscious that they just don't know they're creating it. So what we do is we look at them first in the shadow, but we don't stay in it. You're a spectator, and then we go out, look for your purpose. What is your purpose first? We take you to the Akashic records, and we take you to source. We look at some of the stars that's up there as well, and bring in the energy and the information that comes from there. And then we also, when we go for your starseed, there's an activation of your starseed memories. I take them to the ninth dimension, and we go to the ninth dimension, which is weird and wonderful. It's really weird and wonderful. And to get to the ninth dimension, we go through this, what can only be described as like a sparkly silver rock type form that we go through, but it's smooth. It's not hard. It's not rigid. It's smooth. And then we go through this like rainbowy, like pinks and lilacs and blues, and this kind of formation that we go through before we get to the ninth dimension. And then when we get there, we always are met with Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians. And then we'll go into the med beds, and sometimes they don't even have the med beds. Sometimes it's just there for information. If they're wanting to manifest something at a really powerful level, sometimes the Pleiadians or the Arcturians or the Sirians are given information that they need, or a clearance that they need for them to manifest. And then we do the 12 DNA light body activation, which is very, very powerful. So it's really, really, really all-rounded, esoteric, a spiritual program, but it really does get massive results.
So when we talk about different stars, do they have different purposes? Like, is there something that we would connect with the Pleiadian energy specifically for, something for the Sirian energy?
Yeah, of course there is. The Pleiadians they're very compassionate. I remember when I very first met the Pleiadians, I had a client who actually came for a one-to-one session, severe anxiety, really young girl. She had all the gifts. You know how you've got your clairs, your clairaudience, clairsentience, and all that. She had them all apart from one. She was so gifted, but her family thought she was just going off her head. They didn't understand it. And when we connected her to our spiritual guides and all the rest of it, it was the Pleiadians that came through. And I knew right away it was the Pleiadians because of the energy. It's a very compassionate energy, but it's a very forthright energy. They really say it how it is, but there's a compassion there as well, and there's whereas the Arcturians is a very strong energy, and it's a very healing energy, the intuitive energy, it's a very, very intuitive energy with that. And going with the stars, depending on where they're coming from the stars, yes, you can go to different types of stars. You get this wonderful download of information and energy from the stars when you're going in there. Now, if somebody says to me, even 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, that I would be, taking people to stars and ninth dimensions and all the rest of it, and actually speaking about it, because I used to do things and just not tell anybody about it. And actually speaking about it, I would have been like, no way, that's not. It's too out there. But trust me, it's really, really powerful. Every single person can do it.
Every single person can do it. Now, is that something we can access on our own, just with our intention and our clear desire for connection, for healing, for evolution?
What I've found is when someone is really in their victim and their blame and they've been stuck there for a long time, they find it really difficult to access. And I think it's to do with the energy vibration of the person. However, if you clean that vibration up, that energy up, there's not an issue. But if they've got a low energy, and what I mean by that, if their default is that maybe, I always check into my energy every day. My energy is roughly about between a 7, 8, 9 is where my energy between 1 and 10. And hence why I can always get a lot done in a day and do a lot, because my energy is really high. It's a high vibe energy. It never always used to be like that, but it is now. And I think that's why I'm really connected as well, is because my energy is so high. But if you're in an energy that's maybe a 3 to, below a 4, say, and your energy's down there, you would find it a bit more difficult to get up to that vibration. But it doesn't mean to say you can't.
Now, Anne, you mentioned earlier that you were a little bit skeptical. I actually am too, and I think it's really healthy to have a little bit of skepticism. What if someone is really unsure if this is really anything at all, and they're just kind of dipping their toes in to explore? Do they have to believe to actually access?
No. No, not at all. I mean, when I actually found it by accident, I wasn't taught it. It wasn't someone that I went to a program and was taught it. I actually found it by accident, because in my meditations, I have some really powerful meditations. And when I'm creating a course, I'm very connected to my spirit team. And I always say to them, and it's a good practice to get yourself into, is show me what don't I know. Just show me what don't I know. What do I need to know, but I don't know. Yeah, and I'm always saying that to my spirit team. What don't I know? Just show me.
And be willing to receive the answer.
And I'm also saying as well, can you open my blinkers a wee bit more? Because regardless of how open-minded we are and how, every single person has blinkers, somewhere or another that they don't see in the unconscious and what have you. So I'm always telling them to open me up a wee bit more, open me up. So be careful what you ask for.
Yes, so true, so true. Now, here in North America, we would probably say blinders, not blinkers, but it's the same thing, so that you have a wider perspective. I can see more of what's actually going on.
Totally. So I always ask them to do that. So when I was creating the Spiritual Abundance Creator, I knew about the med beds, I knew about the 9th dimension and what have you, because I'd already created an alchemy course. And we went there, and the students were coming back going, "You witch, how did you even know about this thing?" But it's just what I'm shown by my spirit team and my intuition and what have you. It's just what I'm shown. I just know where to go, and it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind, because I think I need to show people this. I need to show them how to access this. If I can access this, anybody can access this. But I will say your vibration just needs to be just a wee bit higher, because when I was taking students, there's actually people that I've refused to take because the vibration was just too low. And what can happen when the vibration's just low like that is they can become very sick, because they're going into a really powerful vibration. And it's what I call as a healing crisis. And I don't want people to go through things like that. There's other things they can do first before they actually go up to that energy. What I call it the magic. I just call it the magic, because that's what it is.
Now, is there any need for protection or any concern about anything like that?
You should always be protected. And a very good protection to have is what I call the macabre protection. Look online, you'll see it anywhere. That's a very, very powerful protection. It doesn't matter what vibration you're at, the macabre protection is a really good one. And also just set the intention. It's as simple as that. Just set the intention, put protection around me. That's it. I actually have been doing this for such a long time now that I don't even have to say that now. I don't even have to say, "Oh, can you put protection?" However, if I'm very intuitive, so if I feel there's an energy that I'm unsure of, it just instantly goes up. I just say put my card on. That's it, done.
And what kind of miracles have you witnessed using the star magic?
Wow. What kind of miracles? God, here we go. I've seen people that's had severe pain completely gone. The pain's been released, and they've had it for maybe 10 years or what have you, completely gone. I've seen people that have been homeless getting new homes. I've seen new relationships, or relationships that they've about been, not very good. The relationships completely change with family, partners and what have you. Money as well. Their money, because a lot of people have things with money in our society. The money just like flows at them, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's happening? What's going on?" Just things will just come with ease. Life just gets a lot easier when you start using those kind of energies.
And is it like a one-time trip to the ninth dimension, or is this something that you have to work with?
Yeah, no. You can go there as many times as you wish. It's not as if you just go there once. I think once you've actually experienced it, you want to go back. It's not one of those places you experience it and you go, oh well. When you experience it, you want to keep going. You want to keep. And I just show people the techniques on how to do it.
Well, it all sounds absolutely fascinating, Anne. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners today?
And this is probably a wee bit different, actually. The quantum jumping, I'm into all that as well, going into different parallel realities and really getting our timelines right, because a lot of people's timelines are skewed or what have you, makes them stuck. They're very stuck in life, So if you're very stuck in life, a pound to a penny, your timeline's either it's ski whiffed, it's going through you, or it's in the wrong place.
What's the difference between jumping timelines or traveling dimensions?
Ooh, that's a question. So when you're jumping timelines, I see myself going forward. And when I'm jumping dimensions, I see myself going up. Yeah. And I remember, oh God, many years ago, when I was staffing. So I was holding space for maybe about 30 odd people, and we were doing past life regressions. And past life regressions, it was a really unusual way to do it. It's called a Christos. Basically, you rub the third eye, and someone was rubbing the third eye in a clockwise direction, and someone at the same time was rubbing the ankles in an anti-clockwise direction. And they do it simultaneously. And then when both of them take the hands off at the same time, it disorientates the soul. So what happens is you take the soul up and down, 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, a mile, 2 mile, 5 mile, whatever, until you're way up. And then when you're up, really up in the ethers, as I call it, when you're up there, you turn night into day, into night, into day, into night. So you have 30 odd people doing this. And this is, I'm just saying this because it shows you what we are doing, how it can instantly manifest in our reality. So past life regression for me is, people would think you're going that way, you're going back, but actually we were going up the way, dimensional way, yeah, which is unusual, because usually when you do a past life, you go back the way, that's how you do it. So there's about 30 of us doing these past life regressions, these Christos, and we're going up and, into where I see as the dimensions, And it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've been doing it for about 3 or 4 days or whatever, because it's a week-long program. And 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that time I used to smoke, and we were talking years and years and years ago. So we're in the smoking hut, in the spiritual retreat in the smoking hut. And the next thing, there's these bats. During the day at 1 o'clock, daylight, sun shining, and there's bats flying around us. We have created bats coming out. The bats don't even know if it's night or day, because we keep turning the night into day, into night, into day. and there's 30 of us doing it. So we've confused the bats, you know. So that's how I see it. The parallel realities are, you know, they're straight in front of you. There's a lot of parallel realities. The dimensions, I see that they go up the way, like so. Yeah. And that's how I would say the difference of them is. But very good question, by the way. Very good question.
Thank you, Anne.
If you go over to my website, annevarney.com, you'll get a free PDF that explains the steps of how to actually get into those parallel realities, how to do your timelines and get it exactly where it should be, and how to manifest at a really powerful level as well. There's also a free course over on my website as well that goes with my book, No BS Spirituality, Live by Your Own Damn Code. And if you struggle, are you one of those people that struggle to meditate or struggle to be connected to spirit, you know, be connected to those energies? I show you in that course different ways on how to connect through the shamanic way, the angelic way, the hypnosis way, the meditation. There's all different ways I'm showing people how they can really connect, because everybody has a different way of doing it. So there's a spiritual alignment. If your energy's off balance, you know, if your energy's a bit low, as I said to you, if you've got low energy, it's really hard to get to those dimensions. So if your energy's low, there's a free spiritual alignment. I think there's about 8 or 9 audio meditations that'll really align your energy, protect your energy, ground it, and really get your vibration raised. Yeah. And they're all free.
Anne, thank you so much for sharing some magic with us today.
Been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
And thank you for listening to this week's edition of Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. Remember, you will find all of our conversations on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. If you enjoy our conversations, please subscribe, share with a friend. Come visit me at thoughtchange.com. And while you're there, check out my program, Alchemy from the Inside Out. It's time to bring a little magic into your world. That's it for this week. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.